before you spend thousands of dollars and before you start in your dispatch service, I want you to listen to this. I don't want you to start booking your first load because every single week I speak with inspiring dispatchers, and the response I get is very similar. Brokers won't work with me. I've taken courses, watched YouTube videos, and I am still not getting results. Carriers simply hang up on me. I cannot find any. So, what should I do? And I can tell you this, after a few minutes of conversation, I'm almost always falling to the same response. Well, there's no opportunity. And the truth is, they are failing not because dispatching doesn't work. They are struggling because actually nobody ever taught them how this industry works. And this is the biggest challenges that I see. After training thousands of students and working in trucking industry for more than 14 years, I don't want you to repeat those mistakes over and over. I'm going to show you 7 different mistakes, and I hope that you're going to learn from today's life. Because if you are serious about building a dispatch service, you should actually watch this to the end. The biggest mistake, number 7, is going to help you and destroy those misrepresentation about dispatch. So, hello everybody. Welcome to Dispatch Training Center. If this is your first time, my name is Alexandra Sokolenko and I am a founder of Dispatch Training Center. I help thousands of students in the USA and worldwide to learn how to dispatch trucks in the USA. Also, I help them with FMCSA compliance, regulations, and this channel actually exists for the reason to help you to learn, to change trucking for the better. Because when dispatchers know what they do, well, carriers become more profitable. Drivers are safer on the road. An entire industry is benefits from your knowledge. So let's go. Should we go through mistake number 1? And what is the mistake is going to be there? Wow, let's see. Mistake number 1 is simply you are chasing the rate per mile instead of doing what? You simply just looking at the number and you are not understanding, is that going to be profitable? So this is the biggest mistake. And I see that you open DAT or truck stop or 1 to 3 load board and you organize your loads, the highest paying load, and you start calling them. And that's what kills your profitability right away. Because remember, the highest paying load, 100% is not the best load on the load board. Why do they put the number? Because they want to catch you. So you need to make sure you compare this load and you know your actually operation cost, right? So when you go, and let's just go. For example, I'm going to add this to the screen. If I look today is on July 9th. I posted search for the loads. I did not post my truck because I don't want to receive phone calls right now. And I look at Los Angeles, California. Let's say I'm gonna put 100 miles around Los Angeles. I'm gonna refresh, and here's the loads I see. So this is the biggest mistakes. You go and you organize by the highest paying load, and wow, look at this. Well, 12,000. So if I open this 12,000 load, well, is that going to be the best load? Well, of course, we don't know until we call. But a lot of times, you're going to see there's multi-picks, multi-drops, right? Look at this. You have 1 on 4, 4 drops somewhere in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and you're gonna end somewhere, somewhere where whatever was it going. Let's see, it was going to Connecticut. So before you get to Connecticut, you have extra 3 drops. So is that sounds too good? Well, I better have one-on-one load and not to jump for that price. And that's what you need to learn. That you don't have to chase the highest rate per mile, because a lot of times the load board is not going to include your deadhead. The load board is not really going to help you to see where you're going. What if this load go into the area where then you will need to deadhead another 200 miles, right? So don't immediately start calling the brokers. Look at the load board. Yes, you can organize, but the best load for you is going to be the closest one to you, right? So you want to organize by the closest deadhead, because you don't want to waste money on the fuel, on driver pay, and actually you want to make sure that transit works. So you need to save every minute on that driver's logbook, right? So I can also tell you that professional dispatchers, they always analyze profitability. You already know how much tolls are gonna cost you. You already know how much fuel is gonna cost you. You already gonna know if it's possible for him to even pick up on time. Is transit is planned correct? Is it not too short? Is it not too tight? It's actually the transit that he's not gonna be stuck in the middle of Oklahoma redoing his restart, right? So when you look at those numbers, let's go back one more time. When we organize them by those highest paying loads, right? We just organized 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. Well, that looks so amazing. But if your driver has to deadhead 150 miles, 200 miles in California, when he has 3-4 drops, well, now suddenly this load is not becoming that amazing load. So we have to make sure that we understand all of this as a beginners, as a pro dispatchers. So dispatching is not about booking the most expensive load on the load board, right? It's about making this business profitable. So let's go through the list. And if you are taking notes, well, you can write it down. What are you going to be evaluating as a dispatcher? First, empty miles. How far is your truck is? Then you're going to look at the fuel cost. Where is it going? What is the MPG of your truck? How much is it going to cost you? And we have a lot of tools in the load boards. We have apps. We have TMS that can calculate that for you. So nowadays, it's not a problem, right? But if you don't even have that, simply take the miles, well, divide by your MPG and multiply by the cost of the fuel. If you have, let's say, RTS factoring, you can go and see how much approximately the fuel is going to cost you from transit from Los Angeles to Connecticut, because every state is varies, right? And we know that California is going to be one of the highest one. After you got that fuel cost down, well, look at the appointment's time, right? So is that appointment really going to work for you for pickup and for delivery? What is your driver's preference? Does he really night driver? Is he gonna push that logbook to the last second? Is he's taking break at certain time? Because it all looks good on Google Maps, but every driver is different. Believe me, when brokers schedule pickup and delivery, they thinking just about mileage. They divide by 600 miles per day, And that's how they actually make those appointments. Experienced brokers and experienced dispatchers know that it's a lot of things going on into that, right? That after that, appointments work for pickup, for delivery. Now let's think about that reload opportunity. So if you are taking load to Northeast, which state is gonna be easier for you to reload? Which state is gonna cost less in the tolls? Is that gonna be Pennsylvania? Is that gonna be Maryland? Is that gonna be Delaware? Or should you go all the way to Maine? Well, hopefully you understand this, and no, you're not gonna pick up the Maine, you're not gonna go to Delaware, and you just wanna go to upstate New York, right? So also, you need to ask your driver what is his preferences. Remember, driver is the one who is gonna do all of this. So I think after you put all of this in your mind, now you are ready for second mistake number 2, which we will review. So what is the mistake number 2? Well, simply not understanding hours of service. Guys, how many dispatchers not even understanding what it is? I'm asking you today, this would be your first homework that you have to do for yourself, not for me, not for the broker, but for yourself as a future dispatcher, new dispatcher, or the pro dispatcher. Go to FMCSA, simply put hours of service, and they have beautiful PDFs in explaining all of this here. So one more time, where do we find all of this? FMCSA. Here in the search, put hours of service and at least read through all of them. Understand what does it mean, the short haul exception, adverse driving, 30 minutes break, what is a sleeper burst provision, what is the cycle, what is the shift, how many hours is allowed for driver to drive, what does it mean restart. If this is still something new for you and you dispatching, then stop dispatching. Please promise me that you going to educate yourself. You need to understand that professional dispatchers, we plan legal routes, right? I know you're gonna say, Alex, everybody fakes ELDs. You are in Chicagoland. You know how many companies are faking ELDs and push the driver to drive illegally. Guys, in the end of the day, it's your decision. As a pro dispatcher, are you going to be comfortable with pushing the driver on the road? The driver who has a family, the driver who has a kid, the driver who is probably exhausted just because your company is telling you to push him, just because you still fake those ELDs. And we see FMCSA start catching up to those providers because it's a joke. For the last 3-4 years, everybody knew that you can go and you can add those FMCSA approved, self-certified ELDs, but they are still able to change your data. They still doing the restart. And that's why we have people who made millions by creating services for assistance of ELD. You as a driver, do you pay for assistance of ELD, right? Somebody sits and magically does your restart. Somebody sits and magically extend your ELD. Well, it's the truth and sadness of this industry. But I'm here to teach you to become a pro dispatcher. Pro dispatcher can still book the good load, profitable load, and make sure that his driver is safe on the road. Correct? You're gonna remember that there is construction, it's a summer, the weather condition. You're gonna understand that a lot of times brokers don't even understand where you at the moment. And what I mean, where are you? Well, is your driver even have enough hours on that cycle? Did you use hours today? So you as a dispatcher you have to be very clear about this, right? Only you and your driver know what is safe and what is not. So you should protect your driver. You should book those loads with legal transit. Stop killing drivers. Stop killing this industry. Stop pretending that you are big bosses running with 600 trucks on the road, and then accidents happens, you get shut down. First, you get shut down because most of you are chameleon carriers. You have 3, 4, 5 MCs. Secondary, you're gonna get shut down because, well, finally we are waking up. And yes, FMCSA is behind. Government audits is behind. But you as a person, you should not be behind. You should be a professional. So stop. Just stop booking those illegal loads and say no. Say no to your safety department. Say no to the owner of the company and say yes to the driver who should be sleeping and resting, who should be taking the shower, and who should not be driving without a restart. So let's go to mistake number 3. So what is a mistake number 3? Well, again, accepting every load. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, accepting every load, I mean that the first phone call you receive, the first load you see, you simply call and you just say yes. When people receive phone calls, they are so afraid to say no. Listen to me carefully. I want you to learn how to say no as a dispatcher. This is not a bad word. This is actually an answer, professional answer. And no is going to be validated because no, this load is not going to work for us because transit is too short. This load is not going to work for us because rate per mile is too low. It's lower than my operational cost. Well, this load is not going to work for us because we do not do one pick for drops. This load is not going to work for us because we do not take floor loaded commodities so we can end up with claims. This load is not going to work for us because actually the rating of you as a broker is C or none, or maybe we don't like doing business with you, right? Then no for this load is going to be simply this load is too heavy. That no is going to be because it's going to be too much cost in the tolls and it's going to the dead area. The no to that load is going to be simply you are not meeting my rate request. So don't be afraid to say no because you are pro dispatcher. There's going to be so many no's before you say yes. And that's why this is mistake number 3 for new dispatchers. They are simply afraid to say no. So today's homework for you, learn how to say no if the load does not make sense. Let's go to our mistake number 4. And our mistake number 4 is poor communication with brokers. And you're going to say, what do you mean? I booked the load. I am actually answering. My driver is doing all of this. But those are weak communications because you need to be better. First, what broker is going to remember about you? Well, they're going to remember, well, Alex answers her phone, right? She returns calls. She returns messages. She actually provides updates. She responds to emails. She sends paperwork quickly, immediately. She is honest. If there's a problem, she's going to tell you that there is a problem and we need to reschedule appointment or we need to come up with solution, right? Stop lying to the brokers just because you did not calculate the transit correct. Stop lying to the brokers because your drivers woke up late. Just be honest, right? So What else brokers like? Well, they're gonna like Alex never disappears, right? She's there when she needs to answer the updates request. So professional communications is the one of the greatest competitive advantages in transportation. One more time, you can book the load, one load, two loads. But if you're gonna work on your communication skills with the brokers and you actually gonna do what you're supposed to do, update them, send the paperwork, talk to your driver, change if anything needs to be changed ASAP, they gonna love you. And yes, the loyalty still exists, even in those tough markets. So let's go to mistake number 5. And what is mistake number 5? Well, of course, simply ignoring safety. Yes, guys, I know you're going to say, I'm a dispatcher. Why should I worry about safety? Well, I can tell you this, that without safety nowadays, I don't care how good dispatcher you are, but if you ignoring safety, well, your company might be blocked with most of the brokers. Your company might not get those good loads because your safety actually went down. So you need to make sure that you have to understand what is CSA score is, what is FMCSA compliance, because this gonna help you first with the driver retention, right? And you as a dispatcher, listen to me carefully, you directly influence safety. The way you book loads a lot of times is going to improve or destroy safety of that carrier. When you build unrealistic schedules, when you just book the loads one after another, well, what happens? Well, drivers now feel pressure. Now you have to fake that ELD. Drivers start making mistake while brokers catch you in the lies. Violation increase, and oh my God, this is like gonna go on and on and on and on. And finally, it's gonna come to the end. It's gonna come to the end of you dispatching for this carrier. It's gonna come to the end for this carrier ability to even survive in trucking. And all of this is gonna be waste of your time, carrier time in business, and disappointment of the driver. So stop ignoring safety. Well, let's go to our mistake number 6. And what is that mistake? Well, the mistake number 6, you as a dispatcher, you have no system. You simply rely on the memory. Maybe let me find if I even have some sticky notes, right? You put the sticky notes all over you. Next day, you don't even understand what those notes are about, right? So you have no system. Well, if you work for bigger carrier, well, you might be lucky you have TMS. But most of you as a new dispatchers, you guys gonna be working for companies with 1, 2 trucks, maybe 3, and they have no system. So this is your responsibility to kind of introduce them to idea of TMS. And remember, what is TMS? Tracking management software. When people asking me, what should I use? Well, you guys have so many opportunities nowadays. It's not like it used to be 6, 7 years ago. Now we have brand new applications, we have new companies. So it's up to you to schedule the demo and choose something which fits the size of the company, which fits actually the volume that you have, but make sure you have one. If not, well, you have to create that system by yourself. So make sure You have a folders for each driver. In each driver folder, you have the folder for the rate confirmation. You have the folder for BOLs. You have the folder for fuel receipts. You have the folder for other receipts. For example, I don't know, some oil change, fuel receipts, maintenance files, right? So you will need to organize all of this. So is it going to be easy for you? Well, you can still do the old way and use Excel, but nowadays with innovation, just go and invest in TMS, right? Because, well, you as a dispatcher, you need to make sure that everything is done on time, right? Your load tracking, documentation, because the cows can build this kind of unpredictable environment. You try to find something, you did not save, or you go through emails, even your emails are not organized. So system is a must. I don't care if you dispatch one truck, I don't care if you dispatch two trucks, I don't care if you dispatch 8 trucks, and hopefully you're not dispatching 12 or 15 because it's impossible to do a good job. So let's go next. Mistake number 7. So what is the mistake number 7? Well, look at this. Mistake number 7 is simply trying to learn everything from social media, right? So I love YouTube. I love Instagram. I love Facebook. That's how you guys been watching me for years. I love creating educational content. But I can tell you this, that short story or the reel for 2-3 minutes, or even my long videos for 45 minutes or 1 hour, well, they simply cannot teach you how to really dispatch. They're going to give you insight. They're going to give you tips. For some of you, it's even going to create confusion, because if you watching random videos and you don't have knowledge, it's still not going to make sense for you. So you have to understand the professional dispatching includes, first, FMCSA regulation, knowledge of hours of service. You need to know how to negotiate. You need to make sure you master negotiation. After that, you need to make sure that you simply know the terminology, you know the processes, and you build the system, because you're a manager. You're not just a dispatcher who answers the phone. You are the person who let company grow or who is gonna kill the company, because you have a big responsibility, right? So that's why, well, social media, it gives you kind of awareness. It can excite you. Oh my God, all the dispatchers make money. It's so easy. They just say, they just talk to TQL, they make funny TikToks, right? But remember that you need a structured education that's gonna give you confidence, because I strongly believe that knowledge is a power. So that's why experience is gonna give you mastery. Of course, after every training, you're not gonna become a pro dispatcher within 2 days. It's gonna take time. But a good training is gonna give you really strong foundation, and you're gonna eliminate lots and lots of mistakes. So the final message for you today: if today's video kind of saved you from making one of those mistakes, well, put the comment or put the like. And I hope that we're gonna accomplish mission of changing trucking for the better together. We want to make sure our companies succeed. We want to make sure that we are building long relationships, not just with the brokers, but with the drivers, with our colleagues, right? With service providers, insurance agent, let's say factoring representative, fuel card representative, whoever is servicing the industry, right? So hopefully you found this video informative and valuable. So if you can do me a favor and simply like the video, leave a comment and tell me what mistake you've seen the most in your career or which mistake you made in the beginning. And of course, subscribe for my channel and help us educate people, help us change trucking for the better. Thank you for being here. And I'm Alexandra Sokolenko, and I'll see you in my next live. Register for upcoming classes. Remember, we have dispatch starting on July 19th, our safety and compliance on actually dispatch on 18th, safety on 19th. So make sure that you go to our site, register, and I'll see you in my live, not pre-recorded classes. Let's change trucking for the better.